Welcome to Scott on Security. I'm Scott Beck. Thank you for joining along for the ride today. A lot of times people ask me, what can the bad guys get out of a data breach? Yes, identity theft and whatnot, but they're wondering what other ways. Well, today was a good classic example. We've got a client that we take care of their domain names. And what do I mean by domain names? When you look at an email address after the @ sign, usually it's the name of the company, that would be a domain name. Well, we take care of it, and an email came in saying, hey, name of client, it's time to renew your domain names, which is kind of curious because we take care of them, but it was coming from the name of a legitimate company that would register domain names. So long story short, the email looked really good. I had to take a really careful look at it. Couple of the letters in the sending email address were off, so it looked like the legitimate company, but it was just slightly off. The links in the email I talk about, think before you click. If you hovered over the links, again, you had to look really close to see that the links weren't actually going to the real company. And what it was doing was saying, hey, it's time to renew your domain name, so click this link, and the charge is, I think it was $29 for 2 years renewal, whatever the case is. And what it appears to be, you would click the link, you would go, you would make the payment, and of course what you're doing is you're giving the bad guys your credit card information and the information to try to scam you. So from what it looks like is that the bad guys have either done a search looking around these domain names and are now targeting people, which would indicate if you have got a company domain name, you want to make sure to have some privacy, pay for the extra privacy on it. Although in this case, I don't think that's what happened. I think what happened in this situation is the company that registers these domain names, the company they were impersonating, I think they may have been breached because the hackers knew the different domain names that were inside the account. So if you were running a search, yeah, I suppose it's possible that you could find that. But I'd be surprised if the bad guys put enough thought process behind that to do that work to try to target people to make $29 and get a credit card. Maybe. It's possible. I'm on the other side of the tracks. I'm not sure what's really going through the bad guys' minds all the time, other than we know they want to steal your money and they're trying to figure out how to get to it. But I suspect there was a breach and that information became known, and it's just a matter of time before this information starts showing up on the dark web. And in this particular case, I knew that the client had moved the domain names away from this company and that it was bogus, but it was interesting how good the email had been done up to be sent out. And I'm sure it was ending up fooling a lot of people. The other thing that came up interesting today, in Canada, there was a class action lawsuit brought forward by the Native community over residential housing or residential schools, I guess is the proper term. Now, I'm not going to get into the whole history of the situation, but suffices to say that it worked its way through the court system, and the government was found to be guilty of some stuff, and there's going to be some financial implications. The government's going to be paying out some money. Well, somebody has decided that, yeah, even though the Native community is small, and it goes even smaller when you think of the people that are going to be impacted by these payouts, all right? So we're not talking hundreds of thousands of people. It's going to be a smaller number than that. But the bad guys know there's going to be enough money, millions of dollars that are going to get paid out, that they've decided that this is a good segment of society to target, that they're going to go after them. And what they're doing is they're using fake phone calls. So somehow they have gotten a list of people that are eligible for payouts, or maybe they're just getting ban lists and calling through hoping to get to the right individuals. But they're pretending to be calling from the accounting firms that are overseeing the payouts. And of course they're asking for bank account information so they can make the deposit and send you over the money you're owed. Clearly that's not what's actually happening. They're trying to get the account information so they can clear the information out. Because let's face it, if they're calling people, they most likely have already got their names and addresses. If they get their bank account information, who knows where they're going to go from there. And they're going to start cleaning people out. So there's been a big advisory come out around it. And I thought that the really interesting point on it is, again, to whichever cyber gang has decided to target this group of individuals that are going to be coming into money, they've got to see or feel there's going to be a return on their investment. Because look, cyber gangs, cyber criminals, organized cyber crime is a business, just like any business. And they're looking to get a return on their investment of their time, energy, and money that they're spending to go into this. So even though the list of targets is small, it could potentially be profitable, and we're seeing that happening. So if you happen to know someone from the Native or Aboriginal community in Canada, make sure to tell them, do not accept phone calls coming from an accounting firm saying, give us your bank account information. It's bogus. There's a big warning out about it. So those are just a couple of the ways the bad guys are using information they're finding online against us. I mean, the Native thing, that is just very topical in news. And when something happens, the bad guys are all over it. I mean, look at the amount of Kobe Bryant scams that came out like within hours of that news breaking about the loss of Kobe in that helicopter crash. It was just mere hours later that suddenly there were scams circulating around on social media. I mean, they're just waiting to pounce on the next big thing, or as we now know, the next small thing that could be profitable. Hey, thanks a lot for hanging out with me today, and I look forward to talking with you again tomorrow. Spread the word about security with Scott. And if you've got any questions or go, hey, I ran into this, what do you think of this? Make sure to send in the questions. You can either comment down below or send me a message directly, and I'll be happy to try to answer that question for you. And as I like to say, stay safe out there.